Welcome back to the Game Sports Show, the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. This is David McCaig, and I'm here joined once again by one of my co-hosts and analysts, Justin Hykel, inside Sportscenter Bar and Grill on this Wednesday night, where it's here on this famous 75-cent wing nights, along with those game day draws. Don't ever think about going anywhere else in terms of a football game. Just come to SportsCenter. You have a chance to win tickets to the Detroit Lions home game inside Merrill Lake Top Room. It's definitely a great experience to watch a football game up there, and there's no better place than to watch the game than at SportsCenter. Now, Jamie Antonello, you're going to hear that voice in just a few seconds here. He joins us from out of town in Windsor, and hopefully I got the city right. At one time on one of the shows, I said he was in Hamilton. I got corrected there by Scott because he heard it on one of the shows that it was actually Windsor, so that's absolutely hilarious. And he has joined us after a couple months holidays, if you will, that we like to say on this show, despite that it might not feel like holidays coming from his end. But we finally had to work out getting the Skype done, and we finally got him on here on the show, and we look forward to continuing having Jamie on for the remainder of the year. The one only Jamie Antonello. How you doing, my friend, and welcome back.
Yeah, I'm happy to be back on, buddy. And I don't know where you got Hamilton from. I literally never said that once.
No, you didn't. I don't know what I was thinking. You know, I did know it was Windsor. I just said it one time, and of course I said it on live radio, and I got corrected on live radio. So that's always the fun times, Justin, when I make those errors.
Hamilton sounds super made up.
It does.
I mean, he was 100% there. I think, at one point this summer, I'm pretty sure, the bus broke down there or something like that. I don't know. Maybe that was that.
We did break down, but it was in it was in Mississauga.
Oh,
okay. Well, that's all right.
I should have said Mississauga. Now,
it's better than Hamilton.
Quick story that I wanted to say before you go, and I'm saying this, Justin, the house that you bought was Jamie's aunt's old house.
That's the word on the street.
Jamie, how did you find that out? You got to share that with the listeners, that how you found out that it was Justin that
got... just being a creep on social media.
See the dog.
Justin's lovely girlfriend, Tiana, posted the picture, and I just recognized there's a door in the house that has a very specific broken panel, an interior door, and I recognized it, and I sent her a private message to not put a public comment, being an absolute creep, and said, hey, this is going to sound really weird, but I know the exact address and street that your new house is on.
I know exactly where you live, and I've never been there.
Yeah.
Love it. Now, Anto, you are away, you're doing coaching, and before we even jump into, we're gonna kick off in the pocket right now, obviously, but we're going to go on your side of the fence there, and with what are you currently doing? You can tell the listeners about what you're currently involved with in the program and everything of such, and we'll promote the program that you're involved with right now there in Windsor.
Yeah, so I'm in my first year. It's a brand new coaching staff at the University of Windsor, the Windsor Lancers. We're trying to we're trying to bring new energy to the program. Coach John Paul Cercelli is our new head coach this year. He's from London previously. He was a 5-year starter at center for the McMaster Marauders back in the early 2000s. And for the last 4 years, he was the offensive line coach for the University of Western Ontario Mustangs. And he has a great pedigree. He's coached at the under-18 Canadian level. He's coached the All-Ontario teams. And he's really changing the culture. And it's the first year, and we've taken our lumps for sure. We're 1-6, but based on how things have gone this year and the feedback we've gotten from the players that have been here for 3, 4, 5 years and the coaches that have stayed on the staff, we're really moving things in the right direction. It's just tough. Windsor has not been regarded as a place that the top players in Canada want to go to. And as far as OUA football, Western still draws a lot of those players. Guelph gets a lot of them because they have great facilities. And we really we've lost in the past few years the top players from the city of Windsor and from the surrounding areas. So it's really just starting to recruit and get the process going. But I'm the running back coach for the team. They've been great. They've really helped me get settled. And just being my first foray into coaching at this level, as I've spoken on the show before, I mean, I've been coaching in the Sioux for the past 7 years at both the SaberCat and high school level. But this is an absolute jump, and I love it. I would, unfortunately, it may have ruined me for coaching anything at a lower level. Just the whole buy-in, the amount of time that is put in. All the players that are here want to be here. It's guys that have pursued, that love football, want to be playing football at a high level, and just being able to have access to bigger facilities, bigger roster. It's been a complete dream. It's honestly been a blur of 2 months, and we're heading into our final game of the season here. We head to Ottawa tomorrow morning to play the GGs, but it's been a whirlwind of the season, and I couldn't be happier. We got things on the right track here.
And Justin, I think you'll agree too, is that the opportunities you get like that, Jamie is doing great there, and to have that chance. And when you have the right people at the helm to change around a program, I think Windsor should be an attractive place to go. I think being in the border area near Detroit, you kind of have the accessibilities, and I feel like a lot of people got to start giving Windsor a chance.
I don't think the people aren't giving Windsor a chance. It's just some programs have more up and down swings than other programs. Some programs are steady as she goes, and it's easy for kids to kind of decide to make an easy choice to go to one of the steady as she goes programs and not take a chance.
The steady as she goes. I like that. Do you like that term, Anto? Steady as she goes.
Yeah, it's a great song, but no, we're starting to get things going. It's going to be a process. It's not. I mean, the easy thing for me to compare it to is when Tom Annett started coaching at Cora, and he had to turn that program around. It was a complete culture change. Things had to shift. You guys know as well as I, Cora in the late 2000s, early 10s.
Yes.
It was a pit stain of football in the Sioux. Nobody wanted to play that was at that school. Everybody kind of knew when they lined up to play Cora. I was like, wow, this is kind of an easy win. And look at where they are now. And it takes time, though. It took years and years and years of building, and players that have come and gone, but are part of that foundation that builds up the program. And that's what we're trying to do here. And a big part of it is going to be our upcoming recruiting class. We have a really good group of freshmen right now that have just come in, but we're graduating a lot of guys. We've got a bunch of transfer players, really high-quality players that are either doing master's programs at Teachers College or sat out a year and wanted to finish up their degree. In the case of, we have a couple of receivers that are from Windsor originally but went to different universities and did not play last year, whether it be injury or other factors that wanted to come finish it up. So those guys are leaving, but we've had a lot of freshmen play for us this year, which is sometimes not a good thing. Unfortunately, based on our 1-6 record, it's hurt us at times, but it's that invaluable experience that hopefully we can build off of and continue to grow with. But I'm here for the long haul. I'm back finishing my undergrad myself. So I'm actually in classes with some of the players that I'm coaching, which is a bit of a weird dynamic. First day of classes, they all thought I was there to spy on them. So I had to tell them, no, I won't be doing a group project with you, but we're both getting graded here. So yeah, it's been awesome. I'm honestly, the season's going to be over for us in 2 days here. We play in Ottawa on Friday night at 7 p.m. And we're being 1-6. Even if we get the win, 2-6 doesn't make us playoff eligible. But it's been a good initial year under the Cercelli era here. So we're just looking to build.
That's the main point, is you look to build and you look to enhance the program. And we're very proud of you here on the Game Sports Show and here in the Sioux, Jamie. And we're very excited for you to also come see us. I believe you said you're home next week.
Yeah, so with being Thanksgiving, Reading Week is tagged right on the end of it. So as soon as we get back from our road trip, I'm going to sleep for a little bit and then hop in the car, head home. I got the 2 Sioux boys that are playing for the University of Windsor. They're going to come with me, be able to come home, see their families, and hopefully I'll be able to come home for the week, jump on the podcast live, go to Sportscenter, get some wings because those are needed for sure, and be able to go make my way, stop by some high school football practices. Maybe if I stay until the weekend, be able to see some of those semifinal games.
Definitely. Now, like we said here on the show, we have a lot of big things coming with the show, and we've been covering everything here locally in the Sioux and obviously in the professional world. And obviously, we have Jamie, we got EJ in Cleveland, we got Butch in Detroit. We're touching all areas of North America, it seems like, especially with Michigan and Ontario, and even got an analyst doing some work in Vancouver. We covering lots here on the Game Sports Show, so we have lots of content. Please leave the comments below on anything you'd like to discuss about. If you want to reach out to myself, Jamie, or Heiko, if you want to ask Jamie some other further detailed questions about where he is and how it's going, don't hesitate to comment below. Moving forward to the local side of things, Jamie, we talked about this on the show on Monday that I wasn't a part of, but Scott talked about it on Monday, for better terms to say. On Tuesday, myself and Alex and Daniel Scarpino, one of our new members here on the Game Sports Show, was dissecting the local football scene. So we did talk about it in its entirety. So if you want to get the full game recaps and discussions, don't hesitate to veer over to that, the more in detail. But obviously, we had some football action in the senior end last weekend. We had the St. Mary's Knights defeat the Steelhawks, Superior Heights Steelhawks, 19-8, and Nick Pagnotta was a stud. Someone, Nick, that you know, Jamie, is you're pretty familiar with, and pretty darn good football player. And I made the joke on fantasy football. I made a reference on the show on Tuesday saying, hopefully you had him in your fantasy team. He had a pretty good week last week, is what I mentioned. He was all over the statistics.
Yeah, Nick's a fantastic player. He's a dynamic athlete. And, I mean, he's playing the quarterback position for St. Mary's right now. He was a running back for me in the summer. But I know he's kind of hobbled with a bit of an ankle issue right now, so he's not really able to run. But he has a pretty good arm, and I know since not being able to use his legs, which is his best attribute as an athlete, he's really started to focus in on being able to throw the ball. And I mean, he has three really dynamic receivers: Dylan Forsyth, Martin Colicchio, and Chuck Webb, who's a fifth year that has kind of just really emerged as a dominant athlete this year for them. Yeah, I mean, he had 2 touchdowns in that game. But I know Superior Heights almost came back. I mean, it was 19-5 at halftime. I was watching the stream, so I was able to kind of follow the game as much as I can. And then Superior Heights started clawing back and made it 19-18, and it came right down the wire, but St. Mary's was able to squeak away with a win.
And then now those two teams will meet when the semifinals get started on October the 18th. However, you will have Cora playing against Superior Heights this upcoming week. Cora goes into that game 3-0 as the Steelhawks go into that game 0-3 this season. Now, I want to give one over here to Justin. Jamie, you can attest to this after potentially. That may sound crazy, but in that game for Cora, obviously you're going in there, you know you have a bye, you're into the finals, right? Do you take that game to give players more of the opportunity that may not play than others, or maybe Anto after Justin answers? I'm not sure if Tommy runs that offense that way. Every game that I go see seems like a lot of people get into the game, but is there going to be some of the guys you can noticeably see a lot more minutes on the field? Are they going to be given a bit more of a relaxed take this week so they can get set just to avoid potential injuries?
I mean, me personally, with the amount of bye weeks they have in the high school football season now, I mean, teams have done a good job of finding other games, going to the States.
Yes, which has been fantastic.
But any opportunity you can have to play a game at full speed and not practice, I think you need to take that opportunity.
Yeah.
You want to keep your best players, as a well-oiled machine, and I don't think you rest anyone. I mean, if you got guys that are banged up, that's maybe a different story. But I think the season's been pretty lenient as far as time goes to recover.
Yeah, Anto.
Yeah, I know it's a similar situation that Tom was in last year, because they were 5-0 heading into their Week 6 matchup against Superior Heights, and really they had already locked up first place. The only thing that was on the line was an undefeated season. And I know last year he started the game rolling some players, not necessarily putting in like your backups that aren't really going to give you a ton, but some guys that aren't starters but more rotational guys. So they were getting some minutes early, and Superior Heights they scored a touchdown early and then sprinted through Cora's bench and cranked their touchdown siren, which I know kind of fired up the coaching staff and the players, and then it was kind of game on after that, and they were able to squeak out a win in the rain on a last-second touchdown run from Tyler Breeken last year. But As far as this year, with the bye weeks, Cora played Escanaba and Harbor Springs, two Michigan teams on each of their byes. And I know they were able to play a lot of the guys, but they were in those games. They weren't just trying to kind of treating those like an East-West where they're rolling everybody and then they get pumped by 50. They were pretty tight games, both of them. I know the Escanaba game they lost, I believe it was 25-0. The tough thing, and I mean, Justin, you can relate to this more so, not that you can't, Dave, but just trying to go from, well, just because Justin's done it, and so have I when we were in high school, is when you go from Canadian to American rules as an offense, it just changes so many different things that it's a pain in the butt to really get the ball moving. You're always going to get illegal shift penalties. Somebody's going to false start about 7 times, and it's just one of those things that it's just kind of a pain in the ass to deal with.
Well, you don't want to devote a lot of good practice time to adjusting to the different rules. Like it doesn't. It doesn't
benefit
really
anything.
Sense. Yeah.
No.
It's just a game to keep everyone fresh. I mean,
exactly.
That's how I look at it. I mean, for the American teams, it counts towards their.
It does. It actually it's considered a regular season game, where for the Canadian side, it isn't. You know, and I think of those games as those opportunities to play everybody, but at the same time, that's just that's more so the hockey coach coming out of me, I think, and it's that football and hockey are you can't compare.
Yeah, it's
okay?
tough to do
It's
that
too
comparison
different.
though, Dave. I know what you're saying,
but
I mean, realistically, like you got a 22-man roster in hockey. Okay, maybe you only play 5D and you got 7. In football, I mean, especially at the high school level, you only got 12 guys on the field, but you might have 5, 6, 7 guys going both ways. You probably have 10 kids that don't play like more than one special team because either they don't know their assignment as well, they're just not a good enough athlete yet, and I mean there's just more liability for injury. I'm not saying that there isn't in hockey when you put somebody out there that doesn't know what they're doing, but you really have to make sure you got a guy that knows what's up. And I know Tom specifically because Bowen Oliver, who is a running back and defensive end for them, he broke his arm or leg, I can't remember which, a couple weeks ago. So I know that's a big loss for them. So they're trying to get his backup a lot of reps. So I wouldn't be surprised if Tom didn't really play a whole lot of backup guys in this game.
So yeah, that's what I think would be the direction too. And that Cora plays this weekend against Superior Heights, and then also the following week, as I mentioned, the Steelhawks will play the Knights in the playoffs on the 18th, and awaits will Cora in the finals the following week. Now, just gonna say quickly before we dive in to discuss some professional football in the junior action last week, we had some work. I made another fantasy football joke with Dean Breton getting 3 touchdowns, a punt return for Superior Heights, who improved to 4-0 as they defeated St. Mary's 53-6 in that junior matchup. Now, St. Mary's returns to action October the 10th, which is tomorrow against White Pines. And then that game will be at Superior Heights. The Steelhawks will face Cora the following day, which will be on Friday at 4:45, kickoff at Superior Heights. Now, the junior season is wrapping up too, and Superior Heights has come out to be the team leading in that league this year so far, being 4-0. You know, a 53-6 win, Justin. I want to go to you for this one. When is the last time you saw a St. Mary's football team lose 53-6?
I don't remember.
Exactly. Superior Heights. The Steelhawks team is very good. Tom was very commentative about how good the Superior Heights team is. It's definitely going to be very interesting, that junior football rank as well. And I want to give credit to Scott Nason. Obviously does a lot of the article work for the Game Sports Show, including myself. We don't follow a script on the show in particular. However, I will say that Scotty had a good write-up, and I did use his write-up for these points, to be totally honest with you. Jamie, we're going to move forward here. If you had some final thoughts on the local football scene.
I was going to say, you're just going to blast past the junior stuff, despite the fact that I was a junior coach for the last 3 years?
That's a good question. You're allowed. The floor is yours, my friend.
Wow. All right. Well, thanks, Dave. Appreciate it. I've been keeping up with the junior loop a little bit. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I had a little bit of separation anxiety the first couple of weeks.
Oh, I bet.
Missing out. I mean, I was running that program for the past 3 years, and it's been tough for them. I know they have some really good quality players. Superior Heights just has 3 extremely dynamic athletes playing at quarterback and the 2 running back positions. And the Cora team has some speed. Just those 3 guys are exceptionally fast and not necessarily the best football players on the field, but they are extremely dynamic athletes. And at the junior level, you can often get away with just having dynamic athletes. They don't really need to know a ton about football. I've been pretty blessed the last 3 years that I was coaching the junior team. I mean, last year, Michael Nicoletta was the MVP. I had him. And then the year before, I had Tyler Breakin. And the season before that, I had Jordan Robinson-Wright and Jacob Jurich. So I've had some pretty dynamic players. Not saying that there isn't those guys on the core team this year. I know Dante Scaglione is a lineman, an absolute beast in the gym. He's been putting up some freakish numbers, and he's pretty much just handing out pancakes whenever he's out on the field there. But they're just struggling to bring it all together. I think just the lack of top-end speed has hurt them, but I think as a defensive unit, if they can come together and really work as a team, not really rely on the fact that they can just out-athlete people, which they can't, I think they'll be okay. As far as St. Mary's, I mean, it's tough. I know one of my best friends, Ray Duplin, is taking over defensive coordinating for them. Ray, I mean, legend of Sioux SaberCats and St. Mary's football, and he's coached with me at SaberCat level for the past 4 or 5 years. But they're struggling for numbers. I think it's a tough thing. They haven't really had a lot of stability in the junior coaching ranks there. I mean, I think over the last 4 years, they've had 3 different head coaches and a myriad of different coaches in and out and different coordinators and kids playing and not playing. And it's just, there's not been a lot of stability. So I think Ray really, he's proud St. Mary's alumni. He wants to coach there. He wants to be there long term. He loves being in the Sioux. He's proud to be from the Sioux. So if he can kind of stick there, whether or not he stays in junior or moves up to senior eventually, just getting guys that want to coach at the school that they went to goes a long way, I find. So they'll have more than 25 bodies in the future, I'm sure of it. They just got to they got to do the groundwork and get the best athletes. So whether or not it's in the off season, they go around and they get those 10 to 15 grade 9s that didn't play football that can help next year. And then it's figuring out who the incoming grade 8s are. I mean, this is all the work that I remember doing as the junior coach at Cora. We'd get the list of incoming grade 9s, and you've got to call them, make sure, even if you just call every boy on the list flat out, just, hey, are you interested in football? I'm the head coach. This is the time. That way every kid knows in advance. You don't have any excuses. And, hey, you end up sometimes getting 5 to 10 kids bonus. That makes a world of difference, at the very least from a practice perspective, where if you only got a roster of 25, and especially at the junior level, that first couple weeks, the crappiest thing, I mean, I love hockey, but it's when tryouts are happening for A, B, C, whatever. So you're missing kids constantly. You can't really run an efficient practice with 15 kids there. So I think they'll get things going, and I know Justin will be waiting to see that.
Any feedback with that, Justin? For that guy?
I'm all right. They just dropped pizza in front of me.
Oh, I like that. Sportscenter bringing us nice pizza.
I'm
there you
jealous,
go. There's some home.
It's all right. Next weekend, buddy.
He even cut me a piece. Yeah. Justin even put a piece on my plate, Antonello. Look, I feel spoiled over here at Sportscenter, but we are missing you. It'll be very good to have you back
say it
next
out
week.
loud. I'm serving you food.
I like that you are serving me good food.
It's not gonna. Well, let's ask.
Cute.
We can ask Jamie.
It's cute.
I proposed me and Dave have a steel cage match.
Oh, actually, he said steel cage match. Then we brought in Dane, and then I brought in Primo would be my partner. You know, then we would have a steel cage match. Then I said Hell in a Cell, because if you others auditioned yesterday, Jamie, from Sioux Online,
on TV.
I will say through Sioux Online on TV, that we had a local wrestler jump in there, and we had a local wrestling interview. Definitely some interesting stuff. So that's how that got brought up, and I would think me and Preems would win that tag team match against Justin and Dane.
I don't think so. You get this elbow off the top of the cage, it's going down.
Yeah.
Split your skull open.
I think, I mean, gut feeling, I'd be tempted to go with Dane and Justin there, not going to lie.
Oh, Preems and I are going to take this match up. But you have the situation right now in Sault Ste. Marie with football, that White Pines doesn't have a senior team. They have the junior team. We hope that program gets going. And as the Game Sports Show, ESPN 1400, and Sioux Online on TV, we do a lot of the coverage here with local sports that we hope that we keep seeing the enhancement on the local program. And continuing it with In the Pocket here, fellas, and transition to some NFL discussion. We're going to not have a break here. I'm just going to say who we are again. Dave McCaig, Justin Hykel, Jamie Antonello. This edition is powered by ESPN 1400 and Stu Online on TV here on The Game Sports Show, thegamesportshow.com. Jamie, we've been talking NFL, obviously, since the season has started, okay? And within that, you were a defending champion. And people are wondering, what do you mean defending champion? You won the Game Sports Show Pick'em Trophy last year, and due to you moving away this year, it has caused you to not be able to defend your throne really in the presence. However, we are under search of seeing what your total record was, but we're belief that you've been averaging a 9 to 7 week. We might be jumping you in, and we made the executive decision that we are going to jump you in this week in our predictions in place of Matt Primo, but you're going to be making your own picks. You're going to be making your own picks for yourself, and we're going to get you into the show and get you in, and we're going to research what you were in the background of everything. And overall, Jamie, I want you to start off with our NFL portion of the show for the In the Pocket segment. I want you to talk about one game last week. What game interests you?
Well, I mean, I think I got to go with the Thursday nighter between the Rams and Seahawks. I think a lot of people are really seeing the Rams get exposed this year. And I think the big thing is Jared Goff is getting exposed a bit. People have really done a deep dive on the Rams offense under the leadership of Sean McVay. And the fact that Jared Goff throws like 38% of his passes off play action or some ridiculous number, which is really a tell. And I think Todd Gurley has been not playing to the superhuman level that he has been in years past, which really hurts him. So the fact that Jared Goff can't drop back and throw that many straight up drop back passes is really hurting them. And I think you really saw they played a good game in Seattle against them, but you saw Russell Wilson is having like MVP candidate performances week after week right now. He's really carrying that offense. He's making some stupid plays. That touchdown pass that Tyler Lockett caught in the back corner of the end zone with Wilson rolling out to the left was absolutely ridiculous how he got his feet down. DK Metcalf is making that one play a game that's just a massive bomb, the beast out of Ole Miss. And you're really seeing the impact that Jadeveon Clowney is starting to make now that they got him there playing defensive end from Houston. So it's making a difference. I think the Rams are pretenders. I'm not buying them. I don't think they're going to win that division. I think they're going to come third in that division and may not even make the playoffs.
You know, see, I'll say one thing with Russell Wilson right now. I have him in my fantasy. My fantasy's actually been doing quite good this year, in my opinion, even though I had 181 points last week. I got McCaffrey and Wilson and Thielen that were playing last week. And I lost 184 I lost by 3 points.
That's terrible.
And that is absolute garbage. I lost 2 games this year so far, 3-2. I lost the first game 168 to 165. Okay, that is bullshit, if I've ever heard bullshit. The 2 of the 3 games I've won 115 to like 100, something in that range. Okay, so I don't know what this BS is, okay, that I'm getting 160 plus points to my guys, and I should be 5-0 right now this year, to be totally honest. But this overall week, and I'll say, by attesting to your point, the Rams are getting exposed. And Russell Wilson's having a great year. Okay, I can tell you a team that's not having a good year. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's been rough treading this year for the Steelers. It has been certainly rough treading. But a team that I'm very intrigued in, and I know a lot of people are going to like this, is the Detroit Lions. I know they lost against the Chiefs, a game that they should have won and could have won. They arguably could have won the game.
Yeah, you know who doesn't lose against the Chiefs?
Mm-hmm.
That's who doesn't lose against the Chiefs.
Is that the game? I know you're going to go with that game, so I'll say quick. I know the Lions are on bye week last week. Their game against the Packers this week. I'm not going to state what my game of the week is yet. However, this may spoil a bit, but I think this is going to be especially one of the most watched games, especially in our region. But Hykel, I'll go to you because I did talk about the game of the week on the show yesterday from Sioux Online on TV. What was your game of the week last week that you want to bring up?
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. I'm going for the Sunday Nighter. I mean, it was a shit show at my house on Sunday, getting the TV up on the wall, getting the cable hooked up, so I could watch football. If anyone was there, I was a Tasmanian devil of emotions, that's for sure. But no, the Colts defense finally proved why I actually drafted them in fantasy football this year, and everyone chirped me. My one league, because the defensive points are ridiculous. I got like 34 points from them.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been doing a lot better than Andrew Luck has for me this year in fantasy. That's for sure.
Who's Andrew Luck?
Does
he even play?
But no, seriously. I mean, I think the Colts defense finally, showed that Mahomes is a little beatable. You can break down.
The Lions
the
showed
Chiefs.
that he's beatable. He didn't get a touchdown pass.
Yeah, but they didn't win.
No, I guess. Okay.
I mean,
I love it.
yeah, they showed that he was beatable, but then they didn't beat him. So
You got to give credit to Brissett. That kid's been sick.
he's been a really good game manager.
Yep.
He doesn't seem super flappable.
Nope.
Our offensive line, though, has been the MVP of the season, I think, as far as I'm concerned.
And you had a guy that you
They're
drafted.
dominating people right now.
That I can never say his name right. The guy that you gave credit to, he was the rookie last year, the lineman that you.
Quentin Nelson?
Quentin Nelson. No, it wasn't Nelson.
Yeah, that's Quentin Nelson.
It was Nelson. Yeah,
Nelson
anyways.
is the guy you're thinking of.
Yeah. Okay.
Man,
So
he's ruthless.
yeah. So I think what wins is like what quarterbacks are trying to. Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes. These guys are like state of the art quarterbacks, just all around. Drew Brees, all these different guys, but. You know what, guy like I'm going to use Mason Rudolph as an example for something right now. He hasn't done anything exciting, but you know what? The guy actually has a pretty good arm. He could win football games for teams as long as he has a good lines in front of him. And I think linemen, O-line, and D-lines, and this may be a cliche thing to say, but I think those are the building blocks of championships, not just quarterbacks anymore. And I don't know if I'm crazy for saying that, but I feel like look at the Patriots last year in the Super Bowl. It was one of the more boring Super Bowls I've ever watched in my life. But you know what? They shut down the Rams. Gurley was non-existent, and up to the most current point that he is now. But am I crazy to say that the O-line, D-line, that like those are the true building blocks to winning championships?
You're not crazy at all. You're just finally understanding it. And I think Jamie will agree
It took a
on that
while,
one.
but we finally got you there, Dave.
Too bad I couldn't remember a simple name like Quentin Nelson, but hey, that's totally
No, it's all right. It's, everyone gets excited
fine.
by the razzle-dazzle of football, but it's the Hogs that win and lose the games for you.
It is. But now we're going to transition from last week, fellas, due to obviously keeping our time constraints as we've mostly improved on the Game Sports Show, to be honest. Jamie might get a little chuckle out of that as we hopefully be transitioning to some live radio here at SportsCenter more than just podcasted in the very, very, very near future. We're going to talk this week, okay? And everyone knows the drill that's been listening to the Game Sports Show. We go through the games of the week. We go around the table, give our prediction, a quick brief, not a full statement, but a quick brief reason why we picked that team. Under 10 seconds, not even a piece. And to get it all started here, the first game that we're going to talk about is, of course, the Thursday night football game that is going to be tomorrow. And hopefully you're able to come down to SportsCenter to enjoy it. It is the New York Giants and the New England Patriots. And Jamie, as much seniority as you have in the show, I can't say that you're a newcomer, so I'm still going to give you first dibs as you are out of town. You've taken the time out of your day to join us here on the show, obviously, and I want to give you first dibs on this game. Who do you think is going to win? Give us your brief analysis on it.
Sorry, what game are you talking about?
the Patriots and Giants, Thursday nighter.
Oh, Patriots and Giants. Sorry. You're cutting in and out of there. Yeah, I mean, Patriots. The Giants are injured and not very good. It's going to be the Pats.
Oh, very simple answer. Like it. Hykel.
I'm taking the Giants.
Oh, you still won't do it, eh? Oh, you actually
Suck it, Tom.
You're picking it as a
The Patriots are 17-point favorites
oh,
at home.
You got to go bet up on a pro line. Tell me you're going on pro line there, Justin, to get that
Always.
bet. I like that. I'm going Patriots. I'll keep it at that. As simple as that. Next, Buccaneers and Panthers. And once again, hopefully it's more clearer from your end there, Jamie. And hopefully listeners aren't experiencing any bad technical difficulties with sound. If you are, please comment below and let us know. This is my second show using Skype. Second show. I did have it one time, and the test was fine until I had to try to upload it, which I was unable to do. The Panthers and the Buccaneers on Sunday. They got the game overseas. Crispy McChicken. Now, you wonder why I'm saying that. That's my fantasy football name, and the big reason why is because of Christian McCaffrey. Okay, this guy is a stud. This guy's going to get another 30-plus points for me this week. I'm going to start off by saying I believe the Panthers are going to win this football game. What about you, Jamie?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bucks. I think just the fact that the Bucks have played so many games overseas in the past few years. And honestly, I mean, Carolina, the only thing they have really going for them is Christian McCaffrey. And I think he's still going to get his. He's still going to get his points. He's still going to make plays. But the Bucks are going to limit him enough and then take away the rest of the team. And, man, funny enough, that offense is actually moving the ball pretty good. So I think the Bucks are going to win.
Hykel.
Yeah, no, I'm with Jamie on this one. I'm taking the Bucks. I mean, it's a division game. The Bucks are a lot healthier, and I think if the Bucks win this one, I think they have the season sweep on Carolina.
And you know what? You got to think of one thing. Another guy that I watch a lot. Big fan of. Mike Evans had no points last week. He didn't get any. He was real covered last week, and he's got to be coming out next week with a little bit of anger.
No, I think Chris Godwin just comes out and enjoys the pay dirt.
Okay, I like the experience that Jamie said with overseas. It's a good touch. Didn't even think of that. Now, okay, I haven't had too many snoozers in a week. Okay, I haven't. I've maybe had one snoozer of the week. I didn't mention no snoozer of the week up since week 2, I believe. If I remember correctly, I'll have to get back to that. But the Redskins Dolphins, that is an absolute snooze fest. I'm sorry. I think that is my snooze fest of the week. But I'm going to go to you first, Hykel, to predict the winner on the snooze fest of the week. No offense to the Skins or Dolphins.
Well, I think the obvious choice is the Redskins because the coach got fired and they got to rally around something, and that's what they'll do. So, yeah, the Skins, I guess.
Skins, you guess.
The battle of whoever gets to be 1-4.
I like that. I'm going to go next. I'm going to go Dolphins just because. Anto.
I'm going to go Redskins. I believe in Colt McCoy.
Oh, Colt McCoy and the boys.
Full of confidence.
Also, Josh Rosen is just an absolute joke, so I got to go Colt McCoy.
Jags and Saints. Jamie, I know where you're going this route, which is why I'm going to you first.
Saints, baby. They're going to dominate. I love Gardner Minshew, but he ain't getting the win.
No. Now, Ted, I got to ask you as a Saints fan, taking off your analyst and host hat for a minute, what do you think of the play of Teddy Bridgewater? Has that been a nice, refreshing taste, knowing that you have that capability and backup, or even how he was dedicated to stay in New Orleans as a backup to keep learning under Drew Brees and be a part of that team? He's had quite the season. Despite when Drew Brees went down, there was a tad bit of concern, but obviously no one's concerned anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly knew, when we re-signed Teddy in the offseason, that was honestly probably one of the biggest things. Just knowing that he's there, because it gives us the ability to use Taysom Hill as that Weapon X type of guy, right? So if he had to be the sole backup, obviously the offense would change. Would be a lot more quarterback run heavy, and there'd be a lot of different things in it. But now the fact that Teddy can be in, and I'm just happy for Teddy being able to play at a high level again. I mean, that injury he had in Minnesota was awful. And I'm just pumped he's on the Saints, and hopefully he sticks it out, because I know Drew can't play forever, and I hope he can stick around and be the guy to take up the mantle once Drew retires.
Definitely. Now, Drew Brees, obviously a legend. Hoping the Saints fans are hoping that they can win a Super Bowl this year, and it's definitely going to be exciting going down that point. But Hykel, what say you, my friend?
I'm going to have to go with the Saints on this one. I mean, they've looked pretty convincing with Teddy at the helm. So, I mean, the running game helps. Having Michael Thomas as, your number one receiver also helps.
Oh, Michael Thomas.
And Teddy's, Teddy didn't really have a fair shake in Minnesota. So,
No, he didn't.
I
And
think
now
he's
getting that
taken
opportunity.
this opportunity and he's ran with it.
So that's the whole point. When you have a capable backup quarterback, if someone gets hurt, Teddy Bridgewater being loyal to that is definitely fantastic to see. Bengals Ravens. I don't like to go this route being a Steeler fan, but the Ravens are looking pretty solid. You got to go with the Ravens on this one. What about you, Anto?
Yeah, definitely the Ravens. Also, the fact that you say being a Steeler fan, they're both in the division, which is a hilarious comment from you. But
The Bengals are.
I love that you just
Bengals aren't a
overlook
threat.
The Bengals all the time.
Yeah, all the time. Bengals are not. They don't. They aren't too scary at all, and there's still a chance the Steelers can make the playoffs. You know that, Jamie?
Well, yeah, it's week 5, man. Anybody can make the playoffs.
yeah, the Colts won one game at this point last year.
True.
Okay,
and then by July, in my brain, they had won the Super Bowl. So
it's true. The Houston Texans were 0-3 after 3 weeks last year. So
good point. What about you, Hike?
Oh shit! Which game was this?
Ravens and
the
Bengals.
Ravens and the Bengals. Yeah, no, it's the Ravens. The Bengals aren't winning shit.
A couple swears in that one sentence.
Well, they suck, man. If you watch them,
they're bad.
Like everyone, and like this is a rant incoming here. So warning, turn up your radios. But like, why do all these people? And I mean, I can't name the Bengals head coach right now, but you have like there's 4 head coaches in the NFL that were offensive coordinators for the Washington Redskins, and then everyone's like, well, these teams are 0-4. What's going on? Well, the Washington Redskins were awful for how many years? I mean, Matt LaFleur in Green Bay is doing okay, but with Aaron Rodgers, you should be adequate.
Killing people.
Yeah. But no, there's my rant there.
Like that. Obviously, that's a clean sweep of the Ravens. Fellas, to keep the train rolling, just to follow our time constraints as we didn't have a break, obviously, and keep this time. We're hitting, as we try to keep this portion under an hour, we're hitting over 40 minutes. So just to move on to the next point, Seahawks and Browns, I got to say right off the hop, I think Russell Wilson, the boy, is going to run a little bit of hot stuff over the Browns. I'm going Seahawks. My first bet against the Browns this year. Hykel.
Seahawks. I mean, Russ is looking way too good there. And the Browns just look like the Browns. So
the bandwagon has not been that exciting the last few weeks. Antonello, what about you?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a closer game than people think. But it is going to be tough for for Cleveland. I mean, they got a short week coming off the Monday night game. So I'm going to take Seahawks.
Seahawks. Look at that clean sweep again, boys. Like we're all agreeing on certain things. Maybe this one will spice it up a bit. Eagles, Vikings. I'm going to start with you, Antonello.
Yeah, this is a bit of a curious one. I think I'm going to go with Minnesota, just being at home. Also, I'm really hoping Stephon Diggs finally does something for my fantasy team.
Hykel.
I'm also going Minnesota, just based on the run game. They should be able to control the clock.
I'm going Minnesota. I think I'm feeling on Thielen this week. Chiefs and Texans. I'm going to start off, and I'm going to go bold here. I'm going Texans. I just have a feeling that the Chiefs can be just a tad bit angry, but a tad bit rattled after losing last week to the Indianapolis Colts. And Deshaun Watson. I've always been a fan of Deshaun Watson, and I think he's going to be able to match what Mahomes can do. People call me crazy, but that's why I make these predictions. Antonello, what do you think?
I see where you're coming from, Dave, and I do think it's going to be a good game, but I'm going to go with Kansas City. At home, coming off, I think they're going to learn and really build off of what led to the loss versus the Colts. And I wouldn't bet against Patrick Mahomes and that offense putting up 13 points or that few in back-to-back weeks.
No.
I got to go Chiefs.
Michael.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs are going to come out and try and roll this one. Houston's not going to lay down. I definitely think it's a good test for the Chiefs to get some new looks and see how it looks against Houston's defense, but I think the Chiefs got this one.
Now, Falcons-Cardinals, battle of the birds, as we like to say, and Hykel, I'm letting you choose first.
I really... The Falcons suck, and I think the Cardinals got this. I mean,
Falcons.
Well, man, they've looked brutal.
Dane would love you right now.
Yeah, well, Dane went and watched the Falcons live this year. He understands where I'm coming from.
What about you, Anto?
Yeah, I don't know. This is just a stinky game. I mean, Arizona's at home, and I go with them, I guess. See, maybe Kyler Murray finally gets something extremely magical going.
See, I couldn't agree more. I'm also going to go with the Cardinals. Now, Rams 49ers. This was actually my game of the week that I said on Sioux Online. And also with the Detroit Lions, Packers were being a very close second, in my opinion. My game of the week is the 49ers and Rams, and I think the Rams finally get the win and the Niners lose a football game. What about you, Heiko?
I think the Niners are probably going to win this one. I think the word on the street right now is Gurley might not play this week. So
I tried to offer someone in fantasy a trade for Gurley. Good thing I didn't do it. Antonello, what about you?
I'm going to go with the Niners. I think I wouldn't be surprised if LA plays a pretty solid game here, but this is a bit of a tough stretch for them in the schedule. Anytime you get back-to-back division games and coming off of some losses before that, it's going to be tough. But I think the Niners are proving that they're a pretty complete team, and I don't see the Rams being able to stop the run consistently that much. So I think if you can force Aaron Donald to be a run defender primarily. He's still a stud D lineman, but it takes away those corners and how good their secondary is.
Like those answers. Titans, Broncos. Jamie, you go first, my friend.
Honestly, this is a bit of a toss-up game. I mean, gut feeling is the Titans, but I just think that, I think Denver's due. I think they're going to get one. I always feel like the late afternoon home games for Denver, they just always play well in those games somehow. So I'm going to go with Denver.
Heiko.
I'm taking Denver as well. They're fresh off beating the Chargers this week in a division game, and I think they're going to go on a hot streak now.
I'm going the route of the Titans. Marcus Mariota fan here. I'm a Mariota. Well, I can't even say names right. But anyways,
You're staying at the Marriott Hotel? What are you doing?
Yeah, there we go. No, Sportscenter Bar and Grill Hotel tonight potentially after a couple more
the Marcus
products
Marriott,
of food and beer.
All-day continental breakfast. Titans.
Cowboys, Jets.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Cowboys. Keep it short and sweet. I think Dak and the boys are just going to run a hot shot on the Jets. What about you, Anto?
Yeah, Cowboys all the way here. I think Sam Darnold's back, supposedly, right, from his mononucleosis. But, I got to go Cowboys.
Hike.
Cowboys.
Oh, keeping it short and sweet. Clean sweep on the Cowboys front here on the game. Sports show, next one. Steelers, Chargers. I'm not going first. Heiko, you're going first.
Are you going to be a good fan, or are you going to be a smart analyst here, Dave?
Well, I'm going to take the Chargers because it could be me playing quarterback for the Steelers this week.
I'm doing it, Anto. I'm taking a hype here, and I'm a fan, obviously, of the Pittsburgh Steelers. But we have here on the show, we like to direct listeners in the right direction and provide the best that we can. And I'm going to say the Chargers are going to defeat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Antonello.
Well, no offense, Dave, but if our listeners are taking your advice on who to pick for wins, they're probably not doing very well.
Oh, but, yikes.
Should not quit their day job.
I only lost to you by about 9 games last week.
Well, but I mean, half of that, how many times do you just pick a name out of a hat there, man?
I do it 95% of the time. Lions, Packers. Lions, Packers. I'm going to take the lead on this one, gentlemen. I'm buying into the Lions. I've always been a fan of Patricia. I've been a fan of the Lions team a little bit. I think they're in the right direction. They're ascending. I know Green Bay is at home here, and they've done well this season too, to an extent too. But I just got a feeling that Detroit's going to keep it going. Off a nice fresh bye week, rested, ready to lock and load. That's what I got to say. Hike.
Where's the game? Is it in Detroit?
It's in Green Bay.
I'm taking the Packers.
In Green Bay.
You're taking
Packers hands down.
Antonello.
Yeah, I'm going with the Packers as well. Monday night game. I can't not take Rodgers in primetime games. And I think the weather's not supposed to be great in Green Bay that day. I mean, albeit we're 5 days away. But, yeah, I got to go Aaron Rodgers at home.
There you go. And that wraps up our full Week 6 predictions here on the Game Sports Show. It's been in the pocket, an extended edition, non-break edition of the Game Sports Show's in the pocket. We're hitting the 50-minute mark, which is 18 minutes over 2 allotted spot times, but we are just going to get these out of the way before we get into live radio content here in Sioux, Ontario. But it's been Dave McCaig, Justin Hykel, and Jamie Antonello. Jamie, we are going to be signing you off here on the show, and Justin and I are going to be having a part 3 after this, just us talking a little bit of basketball and round table. I want to say thanks for coming on, my friend, and we're very excited to see you here next week, live on location, to get you live in person, and hopefully we get to follow some more time constraints next week.
Well, I mean, time constraints are, it's always a suggestion, isn't it?
It's just
no, happy to be back on, guys. I mean, it's been 8 weeks since I was able to join. I will volunteer the fact that it was not simply because I couldn't call in. Although, Dave, I did hear you throw me under the bus a few times on the podcast, but no, I'm excited to be back, be live, be back in the Sioux next week. Been missing home a little bit here, so it should be good. We'll have a beer together next week, boys.
We definitely been missing you. And now that we can actually have you on Skype, and that when we do some live work and get things going here too, you can join Skype that way too. It's exciting that you're going to be able to come on again frequently, obviously given your schedule over there as well. So thanks again, Jamie. We're going to let you go. And listeners, we're going to take a quick break here. Listen to the Game Sports Show, the Twin Cities' only local, regional, and national sports show, powered by ESPN 1400 and Sioux Online on TV, and all of our sponsors on the Game Sports Show. You're listening to the show on thegamesportshow.com and our various platforms. Like I said, we're taking a quick break. When we come back, it's going to be Justin and I for some quick part 3 before tonight's conclusion. Don't go anywhere.